Kedoshim Tihyu, ki kadosh ani Hashem. Be holy, the Torah demands of us. Ki kadosh ani Hashem, for I, God, am holy. This is how Parshat Kedoshim begins. Speak of setting a high bar for us. The Torah expects nothing short of our being holy. I am reminded of a Torah lesson I learned from one of my revered teachers, Rabbi Dr. Norman Lamm. He should have a refuah shelema, and I extend to him and his entire family nichumim on the recent loss of his wife, Mrs. Mindy Lamm. Dr. Rabbi Lamm was president of Yeshiva University until the late 90s. When I was a student at Yeshiva, sometime during my senior year, I had made up my mind that I would be a rabbi, and I would attend the Rabbi Isaac Elchanan Theological Seminary, Yeshiva University's rabbinical school. I remember the following vividly. I was standing with some friends in front of the elevators of First Hall, the building where most of our classes took place. Classes were held on the second and third floor. On the fifth floor was the president's office. As we stood in front of those elevators, I told my friends, we've been here at Yeshiva for almost 4 years, and none of us have met the president. Of course, we all attend his lectures, but none of us have had any one-on-one time with the president. Let's go up to the fifth floor and say hello. They thought I was nuts. And while they pressed the third floor on the elevator, I pressed the fifth floor. They all got out on the third floor, except for me. I went up to the fifth floor and walked right into the waiting area of the president's office. His secretary at the time, I remember her well, the nicest lady, her name was Marilyn. She looked at me and asked, "What can I do for you, young man?" I said, "I would like to make an appointment with Dr. Lamm." "And what might this be in reference to?" she asked. I was actually taken off guard. I didn't have a good reason. I said, "I just want to say hello and introduce myself. I am a senior and I'll be doing Semicha studies here at Yeshiva. I just wanted to meet the president." Marilyn's face went red. "How dare you," she said, "come up here like that? Rabbi Lamm is a very busy man. He can't just entertain students at whim." Before she could finish her thought, a kind voice came from the room to her right. The voice said, "Marilyn, let him in." I sheepishly walked into Rabbi Lamm's office. He was so gracious, so kind, so patient. He had me sit down in front of him. And this was the start of just a few personal moments I had with Rabbi Lamm. During one of those visits, Rabbi Lamm had me read a passage from the book of Tehillim, a psalm that we read daily, and I knew it by heart. Achat sha'alti me'et Hashem. One thing I ask of God, ota avakesh. Only that is what I will request. Shifti beveit Hashem kol yemei chayai. That I should dwell in the house of God all the days of my life. Lachazot benoam Hashem ulvaker beheichalo. That I may gaze upon Hashem's beauty and visit Hashem's sanctuary. Rabbi Lamm asked me, "Yamin, can there be a more beautiful request, a more beautiful tefillah prayer?" I said, "No. I read this every day." And at that moment, I felt the full impact of those words. Shifti beveit Hashem, to sit and dwell in the house of God. Rabbi Lamm then opened the Talmud and asked me to read how Rabbi Abba Bar Kahana understood King David's words. I read, Malchut Bikesh. David, at that moment, in that request, asked to be king of Israel. I was shocked. Rabbi Lamm just stared at me. I asked Rabbi Lamm, "How is this possible? How could Rabbi Abba turn such a beautiful prayer into a request for political influence, a request for power? The Talmud must be wrong. Rabbi Lamm said to me as follows: David wrote these words at the most difficult time in his life. King Shaul was pursuing to kill him. Avi ve'imi azavuni, David says. My very own father and mother have abandoned me. But David doesn't ask for protection from God or security from God. He didn't turn to God for his petty needs of the hour. I remember Rabbi Lamm saying he didn't pray for crumbs. Rather, he prayed like a king. He asked for royalty. His dreams were lofty and his vision grand. Nothing short of that. Malchut bikesh. He asked to be king of Israel. I much later found out that one of Rabbi Lamm's early books, his published sermons of the 60s and 70s, is called The Royal Reach. And this was a sermon he delivered, and he named it The Royal Reach. Kedoshim Tihyu. This is the royal reach. Our goals are grand. Our vision is great. It's lofty. Nothing short of the royal reach. The pursuit of holiness is what Hashem wanted of us when we said, Na'aseh v'nishma, as we stood in Mount Sinai, when we accepted the covenant. Mamlechet Kohanim, be a nation of priests, vegoy kadosh, and a holy people. Our pursuit is the pursuit of kings. We are not going to live mediocre lives. We are not going to be morally mediocre. We are not going to be charitably mediocre. The education we provide our children will never be mediocre. The synagogues we create will never be mediocre. The Jewish homes we build will never be mediocre. The state of Israel, which we love so much, will never be mediocre amongst the families of the world nations. Ours is the royal reach, to be as kings in the house of Hashem. I want to close with the study of a Mishnah in Pirkei Avot, chapter 3, which is the perek that we read this coming week in synagogue. Hu haya omer, Rabbi Akiva said the following: Chaviv Adam shenivra b'tselem. How beloved is the human being. He's created in the image of God. Chiba yetera nodat lo. But greater still was that he was told, he was informed about this love. Shenivra b'tselem Elokim. He was informed that he was created in the image of God. Similarly, Rabbi Akiva continues, Chavivin Israel, shenikru banim lamakom. Beloved are the Jewish people. They're referred to as God's children. Chiba yetera. But greater still was the love. Nodat lahem shenikru banim lamakom. In that it was made known to them that they were the children of God. Finally, Chavivim Israel shenitan lahem keli chemda. How beloved are the people of Israel that they were given a very precious gift. Chiba yetera nodat lahem shenitan lahem keli chemda shebo nivra olam. But greater still was the love in that they were informed that Hashem gave them this precious gift through which Hashem created the world. My friends, our Torah and the Divrei Chachamim, the teachings of our sages, are filled with this idea of how special we are. The Mishnah in Barachot says, B'nei Melachim Heim. They are the children of kings, princes. So the Torah asks of us to set our spiritual goals high and lofty. Kedoshim Tihyu. We ask like kings because our reach will always be the royal reach. Shabbat Shalom.